forget your skin. So I saved all the texts, all of the best over the years, just to remind myself of how good it is. What was now? No, we're not supposed to. I can't believe it. Oh, I miss you. Yeah, I miss you. I miss you. Yeah, I miss you. I do. Miss you. Yeah, I miss you. No, try not to. You weren't a fan of pictures, so I hardly ever took them. Got them saved in my mind from the bedroom, so that way I can't forget your skin. So I saved all the texts, all of the best over the years, just to remind myself of how good it is. What was now? No, we're not supposed to. I can't believe it. Oh, I miss you. Yeah, I miss you. I miss you. Yeah, I miss you. I do. Miss you. Yeah, I miss you. No, try not to. You weren't a fan of pictures, so I hardly ever took them. Got them saved in my mind from the bedroom, so that way I can't forget your skin. So I saved all the texts, all of the best over the years, just to remind myself of how good it is. What was now? No, we're not supposed.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. My name is Jessie Grossman. I am the founder of WIIM. I'm always excited about these events because, I'm a little biased, but like this one in particular is going to be so good. We have a very special guest that I'm going to be introducing shortly, Bette Ann Fialkov. She's based in my hometown in Miami, and she is a wealth of information. So I'm so excited to welcome her in just a sec. But before I do, I just sort of want to level set for like what to expect over the next like 45-ish minutes. So this is our mentor series. So we've had an incredible mentorship program for the past, I'd say at least 3 years at this point, where we've hand selected women who are in the industry who really raised their hands to say that it's important for them to give back and to, help each other. And that's sort of the ethos of WIIM in general. So these women are very, very special to us. Countless of our members have scheduled one-on-one sessions with them to dive into anything. Like, we're all adults here. We don't need to like have this mentorship program be so regimented. So we leave the hour up to you. And this is for all Industry Plus members. So people have booked sessions with people like Bette Ann and other mentors to say like, I need to workshop a problem, or help me, like, how do I progress further in my career? Or, I don't know, I'd love to dive deeper into celebrity partnerships, which is Bette Ann's expertise. And I'd love to just pick your brain. So education is such an important part of WIIM, and we're all adults here. So it's like we think of education and I think a slightly different way. And I love this mentor series because it's just adults appreciating like the idea of learning and continuous education. And I don't know, I always felt like my life will be so much more exciting if I'm constantly feeding my brain with more and more information. Anyways, I could like legitimately nerd out about this for a while, but I want to hear less from me and I want to introduce our guest. Before I do, I want to hear from you guys because the next 45 minutes is going to be even more fun if this is interactive. So jump into the chat right now and tell us where you're tuning in from and also what side of the industry you sit on, because I also think that'll help Bette Ann sort of like tailor her conversation to you guys to make sure it's most relevant and, interesting for wherever you guys sit. So I'm in Brooklyn, in New York, like I mentioned, actually from Miami. And my background is in talent management. So I'd love to hear from you guys. Jump to the chat, tell us where you're tuning in from. So we could see where everyone is. And then also, what side of the industry you sit on, if you're on the brand side, agency side, talent management side, or something else. We'd love to hear from it. So while you type in the chat, I'm going to bring up our very, very special guest right now, Miss Bette Ann Fialkov. Welcome.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. Thank you so much for having me. So exciting to be here.
I am so excited for you to be here. And I also want to pull up so we can see who's tuning in a little bit. So Missy, Minneapolis on the agency side. We have Lauren, DC on the brand side. We also have Mia Della of LA on the brand side. And lots of others that I'll bring up on the screen. And while I do, I would just love for everyone to hear about you and sort of like your background a little bit. And I'd love to, I always think it's lame when people read off a piece of paper about you. I think it's more interesting to hear from you directly. So would you mind just giving like a brief intro for the few of us who, people who don't know you yet? Love to hear about you.
Absolutely. So I just want to say thanks for having me on. I think it's incredible that you're doing this and that the mentorship program exists, because back when I first started in the industry, like 16, 17 years ago, I was sort of paving the way on my own and really didn't have anybody to look up to and guide me. So I was kind of learning, but I was driving the plane while I was building the plane, and it was a little bit crazy, but so thank you, Jessie, for setting this up. So a little bit about me. I have been working in celebrity and influencer partnerships since the dawn of time. It feels like forever ago. I have worked in-house at Google, Lyft, and Hims and Hers for many, many years. At each place, I was sitting on marketing teams, on brand teams typically, and I was building influencer programs, celebrity partnerships from the ground up. Also strategic brand partnerships and events as well. So doing a little bit of everything. I started my consultancy as a side hustle while I was working at Lyft about 4 or 5 years ago. And after I left Hims and Hers, I turned it into my full time. So I've been consulting full time, doing influencer, celebrity, strategic brand partnerships for full time for about 3.5 years now. And I have an amazing team that works with me, and we work across all sorts of brands, vertical agnostic, to build and execute these types of programs. As Jessie said, I live in Miami, and I am also a mom of 2. I just had my second 4 months ago. So that is a little bit about me. And now I'm going to dive in a little bit. So welcome, everybody. I'm just looking to see where everybody's tuning in from. So it's great. I do see some people are on the brand side of things. So I've always sat on the brand side of things. So celebrity partnerships. This is something that I sort of tripped and fell into because somebody had to do it while I was at Google. And that person was me. So I think just taking a little step back and talking through why celebrity partnerships. So really, like, I read a stat that I found that celebrity endorsements reached almost 2 billion last year. So who knows if that is accurate or if it's more or less than that, but it is a massive, massive. Celebrity endorsements are just, and partnerships are, so many brands are doing them. So many brands want to do them. And so many brands should not be doing them. And so I think that what I want to talk through is just, when you should do a celebrity partnership, why, and the how of it. Because if you don't set up a celebrity partnership correctly, it can really backfire. So you really need to be strategic about when to work with a celebrity and why. I kind of like to think of celebrities and brands as like a Venn diagram, with the celebrity on one side, the brand on the other side, and the partnership in the middle. It's so important when you're thinking about celebrity partnerships to find the right partner, the most authentic partner. It's not just about having somebody like stand and hold a product. That's the old days. That's the endorsement model, and that's how it used to be. But today, it's really about finding that authentic partner that can be really ingrained into your brand and be the voice of your brand in a really big way, and oftentimes have skin in the game with your brand. So I think when you find that authentic partner, that story has to be there. And that story is kind of like what's in the middle of the Venn diagram, that overlap. So finding a partner that has nothing in common with your brand, no backstory that's going to relate to your brand and your brand identity, is not the direction, no matter how big the partner is. And I have some examples that I'm going to talk through around that. I think something else to think about when you are thinking about, do I do a celebrity partnership or not, is, do you have all the mechanisms in place to pull this off? So celebrity partnerships are not just about paying a celebrity a lot of money to go on and post on social. It's really about working with somebody to get the 360 marketing levers firing. So it's not just about social. It's about PR, about paid ads, potentially about television, appearances, doing a launch event. Like, how, if you're paying all this money to work with a celebrity, how can you make it that much bigger? How can you amplify it that much more? And oftentimes I see brands that just want to work with a celebrity to like post something on social. And the thing that a lot of brands don't understand is that celebrities aren't always going to be the conversion drivers. A celebrity with 50 million followers may drive less conversions than an influencer that has 1 million followers and a very niche specific audience. But what celebrities can drive is that PR power, that lasting buzz and awareness. And yes, of course, like, they can drive conversions as well, but you really need to have all the pieces in place to really make that funnel, make the full funnel be affected. So discussing just some examples from my past. So again, I've worked for a lot of big brands, and I'm going to be a little bit cryptic in how I talk about some of the partnerships, because unfortunately, when a partnership went bad, I can't really talk about that in that many details. But I do have to say, an example of a partnership where the partner was not the right fit for the brand. So I inherited a couple of partnerships. I wasn't the strategic mastermind behind them, but I inherited a couple of celebrity partnerships at one of the brands that I worked for. And in both cases, the partners did not make sense on so many levels and were not authentic to the brand. The first example, we worked with an NFL player to talk about a specific prescription product. And unfortunately, if you are in the NFL, you can not talk about prescriptions. So this just did not make sense. And so the partner ultimately, while we loved this NFL player, it didn't really work because that authentic story was not there. Another example of a celebrity partner that did not work well for a brand because the authentic story was not there was for a skincare brand. And for that skincare brand, we worked with a big pop star who everybody knows and loves. And for this campaign, she was very specific on creative control, which that's something that you will see a lot with celebrity partnerships. They are going to want creative control. This partner wanted creative control in who the photographer was and how she showed up in the ads that were being created. So she brought on one of her friends who is a photographer, a very well-known photographer. And because of that, we weren't able to get the shots that we really needed to tell a skincare story. Also, this celebrity didn't want to talk about the acne that she had. You look at celebrity influencers like Alex Earl. Alex Earl got her claim to fame because she was very authentic and real about her struggles with acne. And now, she has her own like acne brand. This celebrity partner, we got down the road with her, and unfortunately, she didn't want to talk about her acne. She just wanted photos of her beautiful skin to be in the ads. And so again, that authentic story was not there. And so this partnership ultimately flopped. Now, some examples of really amazing partnerships. When I was at Lyft, we partnered with LeBron on an incredible partnership around his story of it all started with a bike. So LeBron used to, when he was growing up, he would use his bicycle to get out of the house and go to practice, go to school, go to all these places. And the bicycle really opened up so many doors for him. Now at Lyft, some people don't realize this, but Lyft owns City Bike in New York and a couple other locations. And so what we did was a partnership around City Bike. And we worked together with LeBron to give City Bike memberships to thousands of underprivileged youth in various areas of New York. And this story was so impactful. The fact that he was able to get out while he was growing up by using a bike, and now these youth in New York City are now able to have access to bikes so that they can go to practice, go to school, go wherever they need to go. And so there was just, when you think about the Venn diagram, that story in the middle, it was such an impactful story. With this, we had all marketing levers firing. So I ran a seeding campaign where we worked with LeBron to design some swag around this. There was a micro-influencer campaign that I ran where, we worked with, 50 or however many it was at the time, micro-influencers to also tell this, it all started with a bike story. Then we had some macro influencers. We worked with BMXer Nigel Sylvester to help tell this story. And he actually helped direct one of the main content pieces that we produced around this. Then we had an in-person event at a YMCA in New York. And we had an amazing PR team that we brought in to help PR this entire campaign out. So again, everything was firing, and it was this big campaign with, the star at the top of the tree being LeBron. So that was a great example of authenticity. Another really great example of authenticity is when I worked at Hims and Hers, we partnered with Kristen Bell, the actress Kristen Bell, to be our first ever female mental health celebrity ambassador. So we had launched our mental health offering, and we wanted somebody who could tell a real authentic story and really destigmatize taking prescription for mental health. And so Kristen Bell was that person. She was very open about the fact that she's taken, prescription to help with her mental health struggles, and she's very open about destigmatizing it. And so what was great about her, and you'll see this in a lot of celebrity partnerships, a lot of celebrities have their own production studios. And so with Kristen, we worked with her production studio called Dunshire in order to make this amazing partnership come to life. So our creatives and the Dunshire creatives worked together to come up with the concepts that we were shooting. And we had a full shoot, and we had a huge PR mechanism. One thing that I always recommend when you're doing a shoot with a celebrity is if you can get any PR interviews to happen from while you're at the shoot, you have the celebrity in a confined area. If you can get any whether it is like an exclusive from a magazine and have a journalist there to be on site, like that's great. And that's what we did with Kristen. We had somebody on site during the shoot to help PR this out. And it ended up being such an incredible experience with her because, again, that authentic story was there, that center of the Venn diagram where the brand identity and the brand mission, and then Kristen Bell's identity and mission, there was that intersection that really made a lot of sense. I'm going to pause because I see a question that just came in, and I want to keep this fluid. Okay, let me just read it. How would you navigate leadership that wants a celebrity partnership but having a hard time finding that perfect alignment that would still make that level of buzz leadership is looking for? When would you say go for someone you can tie in with some creative storytelling that bridges the gap, or just don't? So I think this is actually hard, and I have struggled with this before, where leadership has this clear idea, like we want to go with this person. And actually, the examples that I gave that didn't really work, that stemmed, I wasn't dealing with leadership again with those examples that I gave. They had already, I was coming in midway. So, but those are great examples of leadership, when leadership really wants somebody, and no matter what you do, no matter if you try to talk them out of it, paint the picture of this is why somebody else would be so much better. A lot of times, leadership or founder run businesses, it's hard and it's an expensive mistake to make. And so I think, the perfect alignment, if you're able to come up with any sort of scale. So when I was at Google, I actually worked cross-functionally to build out a scale that we can measure the fit of a celebrity for the brand. And so there was different characteristics and variables that we were measuring. So, the following, the social good, and I can't remember all of them right now, and we essentially gave a celebrity a score. And so I would encourage you, if you're having trouble navigating leadership, try to put some numbers to this. Try to say, okay, look, here are 10 different celebrities. I'm going to build out a matrix and score them based on different, these different characteristics. And here, this celebrity that you want leadership is actually not scoring very high based on these different things. I would try to put some numbers behind it so it becomes less of like a personal, like, oh my God, I love that celebrity and I want to work with them, and more of like, this is a business decision and we need the best celebrity possible. I also want to say, like, celebrities shouldn't be seen as a Band-Aid to try to fix something in the marketing to automatically drive more sales. Like, working with celebrity partnership is a long, drawn out, thoughtful, strategic experience that you can't just say, okay, in 1 month I'm going to work with a celebrity, and like it. Most of my celebrity partnerships, and I've worked with a lot of celebrities: LeBron, Kristen Bell, John Legend, and the list goes on. Most of them have taken anywhere from 6 months to a year to build out. So if you're rushing into things, it's just, you're not going to have all the levers to be able to extract the amount that you need to extract from a celebrity partnership. A lot goes into it. A lot of time in the negotiations and the contracting, then in the creative deliverables. Like there's it takes a lot of time. And so I would say if you're not able to dedicate that time, then don't do it. Just work with influencers instead, and wait until you have the time. I hope I answered your question, Amelia. I see another question up here from Mia. Okay. We're specifically trying to do minimal deliverables for meta ads, no actual posting on channels, just a quick video with ad rights. Okay. How do you navigate the right contacts for celebs? Also navigating leadership, wanting the perfect celeb within our budget, who already loves the brand, hard to come by and hard to set expectations with leadership. Yeah. So navigating the right contacts. So there are so many touch points for celebrities. So there is their manager, their talent agent, their agent that only does their brand deals, their agent that does their television deals, they have their PR person, their publicists. Like the list goes on, of how many people are touching and working with celebrities. I always look at IMDb. I have, a subscription to IMDb Pro. And so I always look there if I'm struggling to navigate to get to somebody. It's amazing if you can go through management. I've had amazing experiences going through agents as well. You want to make sure, like going through management, the managers are going to be looking out for what is best for that celebrity. And going through agents, a lot of times I'll see like the agents, they're always trying to get, more money for their celebrity, but they're also having an agent involved. They're just really buttoned up, and they keep things moving, and they keep the celebrity accountable. And so I think it's going through management or an agent is, that's the route that you'll have to go. I have worked through publicists in the past as well. But majority of the time it's management and the agency. In terms of navigating budgets and getting the perfect celeb within the budget. So getting the perfect celeb, again, going back to the authenticity, there has to be that story there. You have to, for me, when I'm pitching a celebrity, I am envisioning how this celebrity is fitting into this big campaign that I'm doing. And I'm putting together a really thoughtful, creative deck for this celebrity so that celebrity can have an idea. And then I'm asking to get on a phone call. I want to, ideally, the first touch point is with the manager or the agent. You have a phone call and you're going through like this concept. Shortly thereafter, you want to get on a phone call with that celebrity, and you want to have a conversation with them to make sure that things are aligning. Things are like you're vibing. Like what you want for the brand is what the celebrity wants as well. And so it's really important to make sure that they're finding that perfect celeb. It's going to take work. It's not going to be the founder of the company saying, "Hey, I love, I don't know, Dua Lipa, and I want to work with Dua Lipa." It's digging a little bit, finding what those synergies are. And I think in terms of budget, it depends on what the ask is for the celebrity. Are you doing a, half day shoot, a full day shoot? What are the exclusivities? Like, will the celebrity be interested in doing equity deals? So I've done a handful of equity deals in the past where it's part equity, part cash. So I think like aligning on budget and how you get to that number. Is a celebrity going to be $750,000 or are they going to be $2.5 million? How you align on that number depends on what the ask is and how big that celebrity is, how in demand they are. It also depends on how well how much they like your brand and see synergies there. So for example, when I was at Google, I led all of our artist partnerships for hardware. So I worked with various artists, like visual artists, as well as a certain DJ that I'll bring up in a minute to create products that told a story. So two of those people that I worked with the EDM DJ Skrillex, and what we got to basically we launched like weather balloons into outer space and captured content that then was turned into phone case art and wallpaper on your phone art. This was years ago. And it was something really cool. Like I got to go out to the desert with Skrillex. We got to launch these. It was just a really amazing experience. And we gave him this experience. Like he was like, I want to do this. Like, can Google do this? And we were like, yes, like we can do it. And because of that, we were giving him this experience that had never been done before. So we did not have to pay him as much as, another company may have had to pay him because we were giving him this experience. Same thing, I partnered with the visual artist, Jeff Koons. Iconic, he's in every museum and his artwork sells for multi-million dollars. If you could even buy his artwork, it's not even for sale anymore. And so we got to work with him on something really special and create something really special that he wanted to do. So again, that budget, it's hard to say like, okay, this is going to be like, in $1 million partnership, because it depends on, how excited the celebrity is. It also depends how much skin they have in the game. So, are you creating a product for them? Is it a net new product that if it sells a lot, they're getting royalties off of it? Like there's so many factors there. Okay. Mia, I'm going back to some of your questions. We're specifically trying to do minimal deliverables for meta ads. So no actual posting on channels, just do quick video with ad rights. So, I mean, I would challenge you there, like, why do you need a celebrity then? Like, that's what if you're not going to do like a full 360, if you're just going to basically like create some like quick digital ads, like, I don't know if like the juice is worth the squeeze. Like, why couldn't you use an influencer? Like, that's where I would, and again, like, I don't know the business or what it is, but like, that's where I would challenge you a little bit. Like, if you're just having them, like I literally just had a client that was like, we want to bring on this, we're doing a nostalgia campaign and we want to bring on this one nostalgic celebrity to do social posts. And I told them like, okay, we can do this, but like, we're not going to get the conversions you want. And we need to have like the PR mechanism, like working. And sure enough, like, my predictions were correct. Like I did what they asked of me, but sure enough, like, so you need like, that's my challenge to you. Like, if you're just doing like one little thing and you're going to pay all this money for a celebrity, what else can you do? Like, is the juice worth the squeeze? Okay. Also for Mia, also have noticed when it's the same agency, they often want to ensure the talent is being paid the same. Right. So, most favored nation. So basically what most favored nations means is that, you know, if you are going to Kristen Bell, and then you're also going to Amy Schumer, and they're repped by the same agency, and you're having them both in the same campaign, then typically there'd be like a most favored nations clause. If you're paying Kristen Bell $2 million, then you should also be paying Amy Schumer $2 million. And so I have definitely, like, I get why agencies do that, but if there is noticeable difference in their celebrity, are they all tier A celebrities, like household names, or is it that they are, you know, there's somebody much smaller that's up and coming, that versus, you know, like a Kristen Bell. So I think that I have run into this. I have, and I understand why it's being done. I would say if it's different campaigns, like, there shouldn't be like most favored nations. If it's for like the one same campaign, like for example, for when I talked about Jeff Koons and Skrillex, like we were building these phone cases with multiple artists. And so oftentimes, depending on the quarter, like I would have most favored nations in place where if I'm paying you 25K, I'm paying the other person 25K. And so it oftentimes could be like helpful in setting like, okay, we're not going to be paying any more than that. Like this is what we pay. Most favored nations across the board. If you want to be part of this, you want to be part of this. But it also could be, you know, in the case, Mia, that I think that, you know, you're probably talking to right now, it could be like detrimental in the sense that you may end up paying like a lot more for somebody that doesn't necessarily like warrant that price tag. So I think depending on the scenario, I would push back. But also depending on the scenario, it could be helpful. I think those are all the questions right now that I'm seeing. Cool. Keep the questions coming in. I want this to be fluid. I know I'm not seeing your faces, but keep the questions coming in. So just some other things that I want to talk about when you're thinking about a celebrity campaign. One of those is a scandal clause. So this actually goes for influencers too, but I always try to have some sort of clause in my contracts to protect the brand from any sort of scandal may it arise. These are public figures. This happens. I was in a situation where one of the brands I was working for had a multi-million-dollar deal with a very, very big name who was canceled for some tweets that went live, you know, like years and years ago. And unfortunately, like we had to pull out of the deal. Like we couldn't be associated with, even if these tweets were in the past, we couldn't be associated with this person because of that at this time. And, you know, it's a hard conversation to have, but that's why the scandal clause is in place. It protects the brands from anything like that were to, you know, happen. So that is something. I see another question that just popped up, so I'm going to jump back to questions. I know this is kind of ambiguous, but where do you see the biggest gap in the market right now? What do brands consistently need help with that they're struggling to hire for or build internally? Megan, tell me, is this in terms of celebrity? I guess I'm trying to connect it back to the celebrity topic. So I think that brands don't, where I see the struggle is, and this is like, I'm blurring the lines a little bit between influencer and celebrity here. Where I see the biggest struggle for brands is they don't know how to get to celebrities or influencers if they don't have somebody internally or they don't have an agency. And then once they get to them, they don't know how to think about pricing. And so I see this time and time and again, like in my business, I see both for celebrities and influencers, agents, managers, talent coming back and saying, okay, like this is our price and this is what we're getting, when they shouldn't actually, the value isn't there. So like whether it's like, for the conversions or the awareness and the engagement in terms of celebrity, like the value isn't there. And I see a lot of brands saying yes to deals and spending money on celebrities and influencers that the price tags don't make sense. And then when it comes to, my consultancy and I'm like pitching, and on the other end, they're saying, well, we're getting this from another brand. It hurts, it hurts the whole ecosystem. And it makes it hard for us to, do deals. Cause I think there are a lot of agencies, like marketing agencies out there that are just like writing checks, and there's no rhyme or reason for, what they're spending on influencers and celebrities, and it hurts it for like all us small people out there. Okay, and let me see, you're clarifying here. I'm wondering for these partnerships, when a campaign is in ideation, if brands have the full support they need. So typically when a celebrity campaign is in an idea, when a founder comes and says, I want to work with a celebrity, I think that internally, the people that need to be in the room for that are the head of brand, or whoever's running brand, the social team. If there is a creative team, obviously the creative team, sometimes creative team will be external, an agency, whatever. And then the PR team. And then if there is, I don't know if there's somebody, like sitting, like maybe like an integrated person as well. That's kind of like connecting the dots. All of those people need to be in the room, because every aspect of the partnership needs to be built out. So what is social going to do? What is PR going to do? What is, paid media also needs to be in the room. What is the strategy? Like, are there just going to be digital ads? Are there going to be broadcast? Like what is happening? And so I think, the earlier these people get in the room, the better, because I see this time and time again with partnerships. Down the road, PR is like, oh, wait, can I get a 15-minute phone interview with this celebrity? And here is like the idea that I want to pitch. And me having to go back and say, well, we didn't contract for a 15-minute interview. We contracted for 3 quotes and an in-person event, but you didn't tell me that you needed a 15-minute interview. So I'm seeing that time and time again. So at the ideation and the contracting stage, you need to make sure that everybody is on board, and everything that you are, and this actually comes before the contracting stage, just comes in the pitch. When you are pitching, you need to make sure that all of those people that are going to have touch points, like let's say social, like wants to do like an Instagram live, or like wants, collab posts, and it's not in the initial ask up front, then you're gonna be hurt in the end, and you're either not gonna be able to get it, or they're gonna be like, well, you're gonna have to pay more money now. So I would say, like, at that ideation point, when you're talking about this, make sure everybody's in the room. And then when you're building the deliverables doc that's going to be pitched to the celebrity, make sure that every team that is going to have touch points has sign off on what those asks are. I hope that answered your question. Okay, great. I'm cognizant of time. Jessie, can I keep going, or?
Yeah, absolutely. We have until 2 technically, so we would just love to hear more from you. That's great.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so I chatted a little bit about the scandal clause. I think another thing that, in terms of like the scandal clause, and you want to think about risk. So there's always a risk when you're doing both celebrity and influencer partnerships, but especially celebrity because they're so visible. So there's always that risk. So you want to be able to like mitigate any sort of risk as much as you can. And so just when you are thinking about who to partner with, you're going to want to make sure that you check all of the dots, all of, their socials. Like, are they super political? Are they are using, like, profanity and like their content? Like, do a Google search, like look, like almost like do a background check. Like, as a mom, when I'm hiring a babysitter, like I am like, like looking in their background, looking at their socials, like making sure that this person that's going to take care of my kids is okay. Like, same thing, do your background check with the celebrities. Like, look into them, see if there's any negative PR, see if there's anything that's a red, yellow, or red flag. So that's super important. Something else to think about when you are thinking about celebrity partnerships is celebrities today, they don't just want a one-off. They want a long multi-month partnership. So it's not just about doing that like one-off like social post, but like how can you build something that, and a lot of times I've had brands be like, we really just want to do like this one social post around this one thing with this celebrity, and I'll go to the celebrity and the celebrity be like, no, like I'm not going to do that just for, a one-time thing. Like, can we think about a 6-month partnership? Can we think about a year-long partnership? And so that's something to keep in mind, like when you're talking with your brands that you're working for. Like, make sure that you have a multi-month, multi-touch point partnership that you are proposing. The more that you're able to put into this partnership, the more the celebrity is going to be excited about it. Something else to think about and set expectations for is measuring celebrity partnerships. So, you're going to want to set expectations with your leadership around how you attribute sales, or if that is what you are looking for these partnerships. But again, there's something, and I brought this up at the beginning of the chat, something to really keep in mind is that a lot of times celebrities aren't going to be like your sellers. You have to make them be your sellers. You have to put that mechanism in place with paid ads and, everything that you're running from the brand side, paid ads, PR, etc., so that the campaign as a whole will sell. Celebrities are really like, you're going to look at like they're bringing the eyeballs, they're bringing the engagement. So like when you're partnering with a celebrity, like you're going to get the bigger the celebrity, the higher the views will be. But typically, like, engagement is inverse, like the lower the engagement. So you're going to get like more engagement from those smaller, more niche influencers and creators. But then with a big celebrity, you're going to get the eyeballs, you're going to get the PR if you have the PR mechanism working for you. So, I think that is just something to think about, like how you are evaluating success from these celebrity partnerships. Does the brand that you're working for, is there a brand lift study? Is there, are there, how did you hear about us surveys that you're able to deploy? I know when we worked at Lyft, we would constantly deploy various surveys around how did you hear about us, especially after we would have a big celebrity partnership go live. I think also something to think about when you're thinking about celebrities is how can you give them not necessarily a title within your company, although celebrities do like that, becoming like, the head creative of, fill in the blank, whatever the brand is. they do like having those titles and they feel like they have like skin in the game, but how can they have more control? So I just, for one of my brands, I just put a pitch together for I'm not gonna say because it's in happening right now, but for a very big celebrity that was in Euphoria. So I just put a big pitch together in partnership with the brand, and in that we're giving this celebrity the opportunity to not only be in some content for us, but to be the cover star of the brand has a magazine that they put out. So to be the cover star of the magazine, as well as to be the the like editor in chief of the magazine. So this would be the first time the celebrity is taking on the role of editor in chief. So thinking about how you can give them those like opportunities and that go beyond just creating some content, I think is really important. Let's see, what else can I tell you about celebrities? I would also just say, as you think about your celebrity strategy, and I talked a little bit about this like with LeBron, but I didn't put like a name to it. I always try to think when you have a celebrity partnership happening, think of it as a pyramid where you have the celebrity at the top. I mentioned like LeBron was like the top of the tree, the star at the top of the tree. Like, and then you have these layers of, like the gifting, the micro influencers, the macro influencers, and then you have your celebrity. And they all should be going at the same time and talking about the same thing. A lot of times what I see is celebrity partnerships will go live and sit on their own island, and there's nothing else happening to support them. So there's not there in terms of like influencer support. So you should really think of your celebrity strategy holistically across influencer, and again, as I mentioned, like the other teams, but really thinking like, how can we make the celebrity message be resonate throughout? Like when I worked with Kristen Bell, for example, not only like she was going live, but we had 10 to 15 smaller ambassadors who are talking about mental health for this campaign. So thinking about how you can like stretch that message beyond celebrity is really important. And then I think, I think that's really it. If anybody, let's see, I think those are all the questions that we have. I'm just looking at the questions. Are there any last questions? Feel free to throw anything else in.
And I think maybe this is also a great point. Like, absolutely throw them in, guys. And thank you for all the questions so far. Thank you for all of your insights, Bette Ann, of course. But also, I think that, like, first of all, plug maybe for if any Industry Plus members want to maybe continue the conversation with you to book that one-on-one coaching session. Our mentorship program, again, is like truly incredible and can't emphasize enough. Like, Bette Ann is part of it and wonderful. And I've heard the best feedback. And so I will also make sure to drop a link into the chat right now so you guys can look into booking that session. And then also maybe if as soon as we get off this call, inevitably, like I do this all the time, like, oh, wait, I was going to ask that one question and I forgot to. What's the best way maybe for, all of our members to reach out and follow up and get in touch with you?
Yeah, definitely. Well, first of all, you can always find me on the WIIM Slack. I am there. LinkedIn is a great place. Like I encourage all of you to regardless if you have a question or not, just connect with me on LinkedIn. And I think those are probably the two best places to find me. You could also email me if you want. My email is ba@outfluenced.co. That's the name of my consultancy, Outfluenced. So you can email me there. But I would say Slack is probably the easiest, quickest way.
Amazing. And like everyone's always in our Slack. So it's easy peasy and you can reach right out to her. And first of all, virtual round of applause from everybody else, but actual round of applause from me. This was so informative and you can see this is, awesome. Thank you. And this is so great and super helpful with a little typo. I typo all the time. We're like the same person. So thank you so much for doing this. This was fantastic. This is like we have such a unique perspective through your eyes. Like there's very few people I feel like that can speak to this so well. So just thank you for doing this. I really appreciate it. And yeah, any final words from you, Bette Ann, before we jump for today?
Yeah, I mean, I think as you are going along and you have any celebrity partnerships and you want to run things by me, like I'm happy to be a resource for you. Again, like set up time, send me a Slack. There's so many nuances that just come up and that you just have to learn by doing these partnerships. So I'm happy to help you wherever you need. So feel free to reach out.
Amazing. Thank you again so much to everybody for being here today and having this incredible mind share. This was so good. We love a good download of information. And everybody, we will see you more around WIIM. So thank you, everybody. And thank you, Bette Ann. You're the best. Appreciate you.
Bye.
Thank you.